and then the next 4 fastest times will advance to the semi-finals. By the way, if you're interested, the Tokyo Olympic standard qualifying time is 1:45:20. 1:45:20. That is something that most certainly this man here, Bryce Hoppel, has accomplished.
On the University of Kansas, so that means he grew up idolizing Jim Ryan, who was one of the top distance runners back in the day. Bryce Hoppel still lives and trains in Kansas. And there's his coach, Mike Whittlesley. He also serves as a volunteer coach for the team. He comes from a sporting family. His father manages a minor league baseball team, and his sister is playing D2 basketball. He was 4th at the World Championships, just off the podium 2 years ago.
I like the way how we've watched him grow up very quickly over the past 18 months or so.
Yeah.
From a college kid into a man and being a front runner in those World Championships. In lane 6 is Cameron Jones.
From San Diego, California, actually started his career at Maryland, where he said he focused on the 400 and really feels that that has been an advantage for him. And I would have to agree, the pace that these men come through at 400 meters, he can definitely use that to his advantage.
First heat of the men's 800 meters away. Hoppel on the outside, they're all in blue, easily recognizable, pretty much like Cameron Jones as well in that red. He's out in front very early.
And Michael Norman gave us a little glimpse into how a lot of these athletes are feeling. It's overwhelming. Some of them are at their first Olympic trials ever. There are jitters in a lot of these athletes, and let's see how they manage this first round.
We spoke earlier about Kara Goucher and myself. We spoke earlier about the eclectic blend in the men's 10,000 meters of youth and experience. I think that can run all the way through these trials.
Yep, so Jones has decided that he is willing and able to take the pole. So let's see what the split is here as they're now halfway through. You see where Bryce Hoppel is. He wants to make sure he will take the pole in 53:04.
Joined by Abe Alvarado in hip number 5. Alvarado in that maroon top as he pushes his way into second ahead of Cameron Jones. Top 3 advance.
And it can always be a challenge when you decide you want to go out hard and take the lead, and the athletes just kind of draft off behind you. And we see Cameron looks like he's struggling a bit behind there as they go into the final 200 of the race. I talked to a bunch of 800-meter runners, and they say they like to split the race up into 4 200s and really focus on what they want to do at each phase. And usually it's like a second bell lap when they get to the final 200.
Well, remember, Hoppel is the one with the experience. 4th at the World Championships, but he has some company coming home. Remember, only top 3 will qualify automatically.
And he's having to pull another gear on the inside there. There's some strong late finishers. Abe Alvarado wins the opening heat of the men's 800 in 1:48.35 over Bryce Hoppel. That was a strong run. And the 25-year-old from California.
So closely contested. I wasn't expecting them to be so aggressive in this first round. Hoppel actually finishing second and really wanting to conserve, but also make sure that he made it into the semifinal. And what a great run by all of these men, really giving it everything that they have. Everything is on the line here, Lee. These men want to be in the semifinal. They want to be in the final, and everybody wants to head to Tokyo. And you saw it here, even in the first round of the men's 800.
And that's dangerous when you have this many people bunched and you know it's only the top 3 that are qualifying automatically. These guys are using gears that they didn't necessarily want to use in round 1, including Hoppel.
Especially in the all black there, Shane Strike with the big L on his top. He got there right on the line to be part of the top 3 to advance to the semifinals in the men's 800. So confirmation.
My favorite athletes to watch compete in America. He should be yours too. He's the American record holder and the first American man or woman to win an 800-meter world title. And here it is. Whenever Donovan Brazier is competing, he competes with so much passion. And look at how he dominated this field when he went on to win with a championship record and become the first American, male or female. He runs from the front and he runs like he's the only person in the race. It's so inspiring to watch him compete. He has so much passion and so much smarts when he competes as well. He's always tactical and always knows when to make his move, and he's just magical and masterful at 800 meters.
That was when he beat Johnny Gray's 150. No. But it was a long time, right? It was 30 plus years.
And Lee, when he's not running, he's fishing.
Yeah.
What's not to love about this guy?
He's chilled. He is chilled for sure. And it's not just Donovan Brazier running, also running. Lane 2, Isaiah Harris.
He knows how to make U.S. teams. He made the U.S. team that went to the World Championships in London in 2017, making it to the semifinal.
Top 3 go through. Here's Heat 2 of the men's 800. Donovan Brazier in black and white. Second, far right on your screen.
And he's not only the favorite to win here, he's favorite to win at the Olympics. And so he can win this race from the front or from the back. This all depends on how he wants to run here. It looks like he'll settle in about midway of this pack.
And Lee, we talk so much about athletes who benefited maybe from having that extra year of the Olympic postponement. Here's somebody who probably was negatively affected because he was in such good form in 2019, coming off of that world title and American record. But somehow he has managed to keep it going, and he has run very well in 2021. He's in a good position here, tucking in the second.
If you're watching from Wisconsin, this is your man, Eric Sawinski, out in front, the 31-year-old from Waukesha. It would be important for Eric to make this with 1 to go.
Yeah, 3 times a U.S. indoor champion. Definitely has the experience to be able to get through this round easily. And Donovan Brazier will just key right off of him. He knows he just needs to be top 3, and the 800 lanes don't matter. It's all about advancing. And so these 2 athletes in the front know that and have the experience to be able to execute well.
Sawinski looks very comfortable, but we all know that Donovan Brazier has the foot speed to be able to cover any move that's being made right here.
Brennan Kidder in bright yellow there. Number 4 moves up into second in between Sawinski and Donovan Brazier. Now here comes Isaiah Harris on the outside in blue. Gets around Nixon in this home stretch. Now look at Donovan Brazier. Switches lines, switches gears, up the inside. He will confirm his position at the front and in the semifinals over Brennan Kidder and Isaiah Harris. That's how easily he can do it.
Okay, I grew up in an era where when you were in a race like this, you never let
Give
that
up
inside.
the pole. I am shocked.
We saw it with Jenny Simpson in the 1,500-meter heats. Look at Donovan Brazier. He's blocked in, right?
Yes.
Sawinski is supposed to close that gap on the inside. Instead, he starts to drift to the outside. And Donovan Brazier goes, oh, thank you very much.
And he ends up in 4th. So Eric Sawinski is now not a big Q and will have to wait. Obviously, this would be a fast heat and he'll probably make it through. But how does he make that mistake? He's an experienced athlete, and he literally drifts out to lane 2 when he's in control. You stay in lane 1, make Donovan Brazier have to do the hard work and go around, and instead he makes it easy for the world champion.
Look, you can't see behind you, but that's a rule. You come off of that turn, you close the door on the inside. Let anybody who wants to go around you have to go the long way and not the short way.
So the guy who dominated most of the race, Eric Sawinski, will have to rely on his time. Here's Lewis Johnson.
All right, well, Donovan, coming off the 2019 year where you won the world title, of course, you got the new American record, and then nothing in 2020. How did you deal with that?
It kind of sucks. I had a little momentum on my side from winning the world champion in 2019, but I feel like I'm still young enough that postponement of the Olympics won't affect me too much.
Right, gotcha. Now, speaking of momentum, you kind of lost it here because you were boxed in on the rail with about 120 to go.
Yeah.
What were you thinking as you waited, and then are you surprised they let you just go by?
Not really. I knew that if I have a strong enough last 100, the guys usually tend to swing wide. So I was like, if I stay in lane 1, it's a quick enough heat. So I just got to get top 3 plus top 6. So
I'm just curious, tactically speaking, if that's you in front, do you ever let anybody come by on the inside? That's what I thought.
I'm strong enough that no one can get by, hopefully. So.
Okay, all right. I just wondered about that. We had a great conversation about it, and you confirmed the old school rules. Thanks, Donovan.
Never give up the rail yet.
All right.
Thank you.
Sonia said it at the top. Tactically, he is masterful, and he just showed you why. He expected that lane to open up on the inside, even though it's something that he said he would never do.
Coming home, it's important to say, see all in yellow there, Brennan Kidder, while the inside opens up for Brazier. Brennan Kidder met the Olympic qualifying standard, and that's important not only in this heat, because he's gone through to the semis, but for when it comes down to the line for a berth at the Olympics. Clayton Murphy, still to come.
20 U.S. Indoor Championships, and he's the current high school indoor record holder, but he had a very unique experience, Sonia, during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. When they were having difficulties finding a track, his dad came up with a solution that most of us could only dream of. He purchased 150 acres out in Pennsylvania and created a replica of Hayward Field. He said, listen, we're not going to be yelling track when people come in lane one. We're just going to have just us out here on this track. It was mind-blowing. And he talked about how that experience was so incredible for him to continue to train and to prepare for this moment right here.
Lee, that's the kind of stuff I want to do if I win the lotto.
Well, I've commentated on Tucker West, the U.S. luge athlete whose dad built him a wooden luge track in their backyard in Connecticut. That's at a whole new level.
Whole new level.
Out in lane 8, this is Brandon Miller, the 19-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri. Third heat of the men's 800 is underway.
Brandon Miller, as just a freshman, was second at the NCAAs and has an incredible finish, Otto. So if he is behind at any point, the way he finishes this 800 is so impressive.
Yeah, he's diminutive. If you see him there just cutting for the inside, there he is in the gray. Always the shortest guy in the field, but this guy has a lot of heart. I've been watching him all season long, indoors and outdoors, during the NCAAs. Really fun to watch.
Early leader is Vincent Crisp.
All-American while at Texas Tech, finished 8th in the 800 meters in 2019 at the NCAAs. Has a lifetime best of 1:46.
Do you know what his Twitter handle is? The 800 meters hurts.
Boy, is he right.
Well, he's putting a hurting on everybody else so far. He has the lead through 400.
For those of you watching in North Carolina, Vincent is from Huntersville, North Carolina, just north of uptown Charlotte, on the edges of Lake Norman. So he leads the way, but will it be Brandon Miller with that recognizable finish who brings it home?
Chris went through in 52.85, which will not trouble anybody around him. So this is going to turn into who has the most in the final 100 to get that automatic qualifying top 3 spot.
Sean Dolan all in wide out wide. He's surging, but he's trying to go around the outside. And then Michael Rhodes, all in blue, is looking good. Rhodes goes to the front. Here comes Dolan all in white. Rhodes and Dolan, remember, only the top 3 go through. Miller will get there. Brandon Miller will be the third and final one to advance to the semifinals. But it's Rhodes who brought it home beautifully. Michael Rhodes for the win.
And Brandon Miller did exactly what we thought Donovan Brazier would have to do. He had to break up, find a gap, and go on the wide outside. And because of that excellent finishing strength that he has, he was still able to get up there for third. But that's a tough place to be in the final 50 meters of the race.
Look at Miller here. He's boxed in. He's in the gray with the Texas A&M uniform. He's like, oh, where's the out? There's the out. That's what we expected, as you said.
Absolutely.
That the world champion would have to do, but look at how strong he is, still able to secure his automatic spot in the semifinals. But that is good tactical running. That's a guy who's been running indoors and out all year. He's not bothered by these pros. He knows exactly what he has to do, and he did it.
And Chris, who had the early lead, would only finish in 5th. And we'll have to wait on time.
Well, speaking of that, Son, that was the slowest of the heats so far. So if they're relying on time like Drew Piazza, who finished in a very close race for find here for some athletes for sure. It's the 4th and final heat of the men's 800 meters. And a guy who knows where to be at the Olympics in this event is Clayton Murphy. He starts in lane 2.
Yeah, he got the bronze in Rio, but some of us are surprised to see him at 800 because he's been running so well at 1,500 meters, including 2 wins this season.
Carrozza starts in lane 5. That's Creighton Carrozza. And then Drew Windle will be on his outside in 6, right in the middle of this pack. I think we need to keep an eye on lane 9, though. That's Isaiah Champion-Jewett.
And Otto and I agree that he was the breakout star of the NCAAs, winning the 800 meters in a lifetime best 1:44.68. He's also a huge anime fan, which is very fitting because this is an animation that originated in Japan. You go on his Instagram page, much like Noah Lyles, it's all over his page. But just a lighthearted, passionate runner, and he really goes for it. His finish is just as strong as anybody in this field.
Setting the field for the semifinals in the men's 800. Here we go. Top three will go through and join the others who have been in the top three, plus the next four fastest times.
So Clayton Murphy on the inside in the blue with all the experience. We mentioned his bronze medal from Rio. And he is setting himself up and making sure that he has enough. Yeah, there he is. You got to make some room to get to the front. And he now settles in with 200 meters gone.
Jewett leads early. I like Clayton Murphy's philosophy. He said if you want to be a champion, if you want to be the greatest, if you want to be an Olympian and a medal winner, you got to get your house in order. And to get your house in order, you got to build your basement first. Forget about the furnishings. Get the fundamentals and the foundation down right first.
And maybe that's why he's been running so many 1,500 meter races this year. But he's been running so well that we think that maybe he can make the team in that as well.
So Jewett leads, as he has for the entire race, and leads well.
Yeah, but he's only gone out in 54.3. So now he's going to try to push the pace on this third 200 and see if he can't take the sting out of some of these legs. But Clayton Murphy looks very comfortable right now.
I love how Clayton looks so much more than Jewett. He looks to be pushing the pace a little bit too much. It's still just the first round, so he really wants to get in control, because you don't want to run out of legs in the final 100 meters of this race.
Especially when only the top three will qualify automatically.
And the yellow shirt of Drew Windle is in that third and final position at the moment. Koech, the Kenyan-born runner who became eligible to represent the U.S. earlier this month. Clayton Murphy and Jewett are side by side. Koech goes into third, coming to the line. Murphy is just managing this one. He'll go shoulder to shoulder. He knows he's part of the top three. Save some energy to the line in a 1:47.83.
Youth versus experience. You saw the youth and the strong legs still of Jewett, but Murphy looking around, making sure, oh, I'm in the top three.
Yeah.
No need to challenge for the lead or the win.
Clayton Murphy looked so comfortable this entire race. Even in the beginning of the race, he didn't care about getting to the front. He was very comfortable just kind of getting himself positioned in this race. At the final part of the race, he looked completely in control. And I think Jewett knew that he needed to be in this position. He wants to continue to, you know, there's a mental component about winning every single round and being able to win from the front and run from the front that really does help you in a final. And so he also gained from this race as well.
Yep, so look at Murphy. Okay, nobody coming on the right. I know I have Jewett to my left. You see Jewett opening that door on the inside again, drifting out. Okay. That you may get away with that in the first round. Exactly. The semifinal, that could make the difference between being in the final or being in the stands with us.
Really strong finish from Jonah Koech, the 24-year-old, to get that third and final transfer position to the semifinals. The rest will have to rely on time. Lewis Johnson, who you got?
I've got the top two here. Interesting to hear about some tactics here. So first of all, Clayton, your thoughts on the way you managed it from the inside, from the back, then to the lead for the win?
Being where I was not the plan.
Okay.
So kind of moved with like 3:50 to go and just kept pushing all the way through and survive in advance at this point. So I had to kind of make up for some early, I guess, stupidity, I guess you want to call it.
Okay. Isaiah might like to hear that. You guys are going to be going back and forth.
Just never mind, scratch that. He didn't
yeah,
that.
Too late. It's live. Isaiah, a week ago you were here. You ran an amazing personal best to become champion. How are your legs feeling as you come back out here in this first round?
They're feeling pretty good. I'm glad I got that race out of the way because it got me right back into the mojo of running. And it's always a great time to race all these pros, so it's so super fun.
I saw Quincy Watts, the Olympic champion in the 400, give you a last-minute bark. Were the instructions to go out, get in the front, slow it down, then take off?
Not at all. I'm probably going to get in trouble for that. But
okay.
He just told me to be myself, so that's all I'm trying to do.
All righty, and I know you can.
Yeah,
what's that?
I said at least we both get in trouble.
Yeah, we're both getting in trouble.
There you go. Guys, good luck. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Off to the semifinals of the men's 800. Jewett and Murphy.